Every personality type has its buttons that you simply shouldn't press. Even the seemingly distant and analytical INFJ type has its trigger points, causing their characteristic distance to make it even more difficult to tell what things really set them off. So, what are some of the things you should avoid saying to this empathetically driven type? Welcome, or welcome back, Psychos. Before we get into today's video, we'd love it if you'd like and subscribe to our channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. So let's get right into the video, starting with number 8. Calm down. One of an INFJ's hallmark traits is their sensitivity, so if they do let you close enough to them that they're displaying their emotions, the last thing you should be doing is making them feel like this is a bad thing. Imagine being insecure about sharing your feelings, especially when experiencing them feels so alien to you, and then the person you trusted with that sensitivity tells you that your reaction is unjustified. It hits them right where it hurts, and while they might act strange when they get emotional, it's important not to target that emotion in the heat of the moment. So, if you do see an INFJ showing that they're hurt or offended, make sure to give them the requisite time and space to heal and think their way to the conclusion. Give them the chance to process their emotions, and it'll be better for everyone involved. Number 7. You're just not trying hard enough. INFJs define almost their entire self-worth by their ability to attain and reflect the perfect representation of their often unrealistic goals. So while it might seem like telling them to try harder is just showing some tough love, it actually strikes at a really sensitive spot for them. This is an even bigger deal if the INFJ has an incredibly stressful position or career that magnifies their own natural precarious relationship with work and success. One thing that makes this harder to understand is because INFJs are focused on doing things the right way, they may seem like they're not really trying when what they're actually trying to do is find the proper formula. For them, it's all about quality over quantity, so don't confuse their stillness for lack of action, and certainly don't imply that they're not putting in the effort. Number 6. Saying, "I'm fine," when you really aren't. If you're going through a troubling emotional situation and dealing with a lot of stress that you'd rather not talk about with the INFJ in your life, you're better off being direct with them about it. Because of their sensitivity, INFJs tend to sense the emotion of others. This goes beyond simply caring. If you say you feel one way but show that you feel another, that contradiction will directly affect and upset them. Even worse, because empaths tend to experience their emotions physically, it will literally cause them physical distress, which will only be compounded with their confusion if they don't understand why they feel the way they do as you're lying. So while it might be tempting to put on a good face and act like you're okay, when it comes to INFJs, you're better off just being honest and saying you don't feel like sharing, sparing both of you a lot of grief and confusion. Number 5. No one will ever understand you. INFJs quickly give up trying to explain their sixth sense sort of awareness to others, but the behaviour it causes can still make building friendships difficult. Just being unable to share something so crucial to their nature can leave many INFJs feeling isolated and misunderstood in their surroundings. So, as you might imagine, you certainly don't want to add on to that already present doubt and loneliness. If you truly don't understand why they are the way they are and want to be positive about it, frame that ability as cool and unique. Show that you're grateful for having such a unique friend rather than conveying just how little you can relate to their struggles. Number 4. You're so boring. You should really get out more. INFJs are sometimes called the extroverted introverts. This nickname largely comes from how they can be passionate, enthusiastic, and talkative when hanging out with people they enjoy. But, as most of you know, they also need a lot of downtime. It can be confusing to others why someone who seems to have so much fun and is so personable wouldn't want to do other extroverted type things. but that's just how they are. Your INFJ probably won't be club hopping every night, but they'll guarantee a great time when you do get them out and about. Just understand that they march to the beat of their own drum, meaning they will only go where they want to go with who they want to spend time with, and they're not interested in altering that flow. If you do want to try and get them out more, recreate the scenarios that they enjoy by including the same people, going to the same place, and so forth. This appeases their sense of what's most right for their enjoyment, much like eating a meal they already know they like. Number 3. You can make it difficult to love you. INFJs can seem rather contradictory. They often come across as both warm and engaging, but also distant and cautious. These mixed signals can be very off-putting when you're on the other end. It feels like you're dealing with a sort of saint or superhero versus having a personal relationship with a friend or romantic partner. At the same time, the simultaneous directness and analytical distance can make INFJs seem like very strange people at times. Add on to that their particular sixth sense that lets them peer into people's true selves, and often INFJs will speak to a deep-seated emotion many people don't want to discuss or even share. All this makes up a potentially very difficult person to understand and, by extension, love. Just understand that all of their understanding and distance and affection is an expression of just how caring and sensitive they truly are. They don't keep all these things in control and at a given level because they don't care, but because they do care more than most people would or could. So rather than telling them that they can be difficult to love, something they likely already know and feel, show them that they're worth trusting. Unlike other personality types, they will notice and they will remember. Number 2. You're doing too much. While the majority of people are more comfort-focused, most INFJs always need to have a cause. They're always trying to help something or someone to make a difference in the world, no matter how big or small. It could be something as pedestrian as saving a roommate's cat from a tree, or trying to show some kindness to a local rough character, thinking that they would be different with just a little kindness. Or this could take the form of a grand plan to better the world in some drastic way that may seem impossible to most. Appropriately, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, and Martin Luther King Jr. were all INFJs. Imagine how daunting all of their missions must have seemed at first, and yet they all accomplished their goals at great personal cost. If it's broken, they're going to do their best to fix it, even at their own expense. So when you think you'll help them by pointing out that they've taken too much on, chances are they'll interpret your comments not as well-meaning suggestions to give themselves a break, and more as you're belittling their passion. Either let them be, or if it's something you also feel passionate about, offer to help them in some capacity. Just make sure you follow through. Because if you say you'll help with their latest passion project, thinking that just believing someone else will help is going to be enough, well, you're only going to make things worse when you end up both a liar and someone who betrays their personal cause. And number 1, everybody does it like this. Aside from the INFJ's innate self-reliant attitude in life, this curious type doesn't like to generalize groups of people. People with the INFJ personality type are true human behavior enthusiasts, observing and analyzing human interaction for as long as they can remember. And with this wealth of knowledge and understanding comes realization that people are nuanced and life isn't as black and white as we'd like to believe it is. Meaning there are hundreds of ways of doing things the right way, and following the norm isn't exactly the most logical decision. So, hasty decisions about broad groups of people can make the INFJ instantly put off. Assumptions due to characteristics, behaviours, clothing style, and other visuals are even worse. So when it comes to chatting with the INFJ, it's better to keep your stereotypical generalizations to yourself. So that's it for 8 things you should never say to an INFJ, Psychos. So, if you are an INFJ personality type, which of these 8 are the worst? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more psycho videos.